and a fantastic supporter and sponsor here this weekend. And I think we're moving into F4.
Yeah, F4.
And the reason I know that is because my man has rolled in, just floating about 3 inches above the ground.
He has.
It is Andrew Horatio Aloysius Murphy, the series commentator for the Australian Formula Grand Prix Championship. And Vaughan, I think you're going to hand over to him.
I'm going to hand over to Andrew now, and the crazy crew can get together and call a couple of races. I'll disappear for a while. I'll be back a bit later on with Bisho. But good morning, Andrew Murphy.
Thanks, Mr. Brewer. Welcome to Victoria, mate. And morning, Bisho. How are you?
Good morning, Andrew. I'm all the better for seeing your smiling face, brother.
How good is this, mate? Look at the weather. It's been turned on. I had to come up from Melbourne this morning early and was just waiting to see what it was going to look like. Conditions absolutely perfect. And this is the final round of the Australian Formula GP Championship Series, mate. It's going to be a big, big weekend for these guys and girls.
We've had lots of action while you've been away. We had a lot of fun yesterday. And Paul Whitten,
yes,
Gravy, had a little barrel roll in practice.
He doesn't mind going down pretty hard in practice, does he? That's one of the things about this series. It's exciting for all the right and the wrong reasons. It can be. But these guys at the pointy end, this is the Australian Championship Series for these guys. So when you're out there practicing, you're practicing at full race pace. There's no quarter given and none taken by any of these competitors. So unfortunately for Paul, hopefully I haven't checked in with him this morning.
Yeah, they're okay.
Together, they're going to be ready to run again.
Yeah. And as I said to Vaughan, he was a bit worried. Oh, that might be it. I said, oh no, these outboard boys are pretty fair dinkum. They'll dry that engine out, get it running, get it hot, get all the moisture out of it, and put the boat back on the water. I think it was a relatively light rollover. It did set his airbag off though, of course, which is always a pain in the backside for him. And then obviously getting the engine sorted out and unmoistured.
Yeah,
is that a word?
It's a word. You made it a word. Mate, here we are. This is F4, Dave, and I know you've probably talked about this already when practice on yesterday, but this is the Australian Championship Series for Formula 4 international category, an unbelievable class, and it's a very, very tight championship series. The actual championship will be decided here this weekend, and a couple of people out here on the water to watch. The guy in the back chute right now, the white boat with the green stripe down the back of it, he is a young hard charger by the name of Lockie Bride, mate. And that boat, he comes from the Victorian Speedboat Club down there.
Almost excommunicated from the club because they do consider himself inboarders, that club.
They almost do down there. But, mate, this young kid is lightning fast on the water. He's got the courage of a lion out there. And I was just watching him through this big sweeping left-hander up there. The boat is loose and fast. Now, this is their qualifying session, Dave. So they think they'll have to get a run on it, but I think they've got about 11 minutes or so. But the back half of that is a quality session for them. And that sets the all-important pole positions for this Championship Series race coming up later on today.
Of course, all these guys, mate, do dock starts for their races, don't they? So for those people that maybe haven't seen what a dock start is, just run us through how a dock start works.
It is. It's a very exciting format. As I said, that's why qualifying is so important. You'll see them line up just down here out the front of the big field in the commentary box position. And fastest pole sitter will sit on the left-hand side, and they are the person closest to turn number one. When the two flags are raised in the air, the heart rate goes up, the silence settles across the water, and when those flags drop, Dave, all 4, 5, 6, and I think our main event, somewhere around 14, 15 boats, are going to charge straight across this course and into the hard left-hand turn one. It's hold your breath action, mate. I know you've seen it 100 times before, but it just gets me every time.
Oh, it is. And you're right, mate. It's one of those things. It doesn't matter how often you watch it. It's just exciting stuff. It's the same as watching 5 or 6 flying boats come down the front straight. No matter how many you've seen, it always scares you. So great to have you here, mate, and with your knowledge of the series. We did have a look at the points yesterday, and Reece Cole's currently sitting on top of the table. Looks like he's going to be a little bit hard to knock off. He'll have to have a bad weekend this weekend to be beaten, I'd suggest.
He certainly will, mate, and it does actually happen, though, I've got to admit. You know, as we saw with Paul Whitten, it can be 0 to hero. When you're pointing these things and shooting at the level they are at, it really can go horribly wrong, and we have seen Reece before come into a series race right at the top end and just walk away with no points, just through either mechanical failure or incident on the course. But let's have another look out here on the water there. This is qualifying, so clock's ticking down, so you can see these guys starting to really push on. You see an interesting line, Dave, up at the bridge end. That white boat, sponsored by Yarrawonga 4x4, right at the back. He's gone a wide line now. This is qualifying run.
Very wide.
So he's given this up. So he's got himself a nice squared off entry. So this is Tyler Gilligan.
Yep.
Currently right up there in the points. He's come out wide now. He's going to square cut to try and get his maximum velocity down the straight. These F4s powered by a 60 horsepower Mercury EFI 4-stroke racing engine, Dave. Standard engine, no modifications permitted. So therefore, they haven't got a lot of horsepower to work with. They've got to be smooth. They've got to be fast. And this is a really interesting track for them as we watch Lockie Bride now going to turn number 1. That's super tight, that first left-hander as he settles the boat in and rolls it through.
27 juniors have spun out here this morning at this
Right,
corner, so it's been unbelievable. So you're right, it is really tight. The other problem is, not only is it tight, Murph, they've got carrying a lot of pace into it as well, because it is quite a reasonably good straight, especially when you do what Tyler just did and run that big wide line and run them down into it. So the hulls as well, mate, I mean, they're all very similar. There's really... It's all about setup, isn't it? It's all about propellers, engine heights, and then obviously how you drive the boat.
It certainly is, mate, and that's exactly right. Obviously, the engine height is one thing that you can adjust. Engine unmodified. The boat is a minimum weight, a minimum length, a minimum width. There's 2 distinct types of hull out here. The Yarrawonga 4x4 machine, Tyler Gilligan, that boat is a Mulgard, brought in from Europe, and it is very, very good in rough water. You see how hard and flat it turns. The rest of the boats in the field out here are what we call Kangwa hulls, so built in Asia. Some of the first boats to come to this series, and they are super fast. So slightly different sponson shape, potentially not as good in the rough water, but man, they are quick, as we see right now with Lockie Bride. Hey, another young bloke I've just seen circulating out here. It's good to see him back. He's in the back chute right now, slowing up off the
Slowing
pace.
up, yeah, Jack Meads.
Yeah, little Meadsy. So in the Budlight racing machine, I'm not sure how many Budlights are here this weekend. There's probably 3 or 4 of them.
There's only one, I think, mate.
Is there really?
I'm not sure I don't think Andrew's running in the... David is running in the championship. So I'm not sure that boat's here. I think it's all about Jack this weekend.
Right, so we're going to try and pick up a couple of times on these guys as they roll through. Now, I'd expect from the qualifying, I'm going to expect to see Lockie Bride right at the front, and right with him will be this guy. These guys are often split by less than half a second in a qualifying lap, Dave, and when it comes down to race pace, it literally is. You're looking for a tenth every corner. Just those tiny little advantages. Increment, exactly right. They all add up to 2 or 3 or 4 seconds. Go RV Marine's back on the water. Obviously, that boat had a massive spill a little while ago.
Yep.
And great to see the team have put the boat back together. I think we've got Sam Lucas down there on the cans. I saw he must be talking to someone. So Go RV Marine, which is Jackson Second, mate, pedalling the behind the wheel of this boat. So
yeah,
good to see the orange and blue machine back on the water and looking very, very nice in the front chute here.
Yeah, well, the little crash that he had certainly hasn't dampened his enthusiasm. He's having a crack out there. He's got plenty of trim into that boat and pushing along as hard as everybody. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see some lap times between these guys. Who's been the standout for you in this class, mate, over the season?
Outright speed, I've got to say Lockie Bride. So this is the white boat with the green flash on the back of it. That has been one of the quickest boats getting around. Lacked a little bit of consistency though, Dave, across the series through error. They were caught out by a water pump issue a little while ago. And in a bit of the rougher conditions as well, sort of brings him back to the field a little bit. Tyler Gilligan in the Yarrawonga 4x4 machine, the all-white Mulgard entering the back straight right now. He has been relentless, just absolutely consistent. And again, this is a long series, over 4 rounds, 16 races. You've got to put points in the bag to be there at the pointy end. Unfortunately for Meadsy and a couple of these others, they haven't been able to get to all the rounds, haven't been able to get to all the races. So they're at a point deficit, but they've come to win this weekend, mate. They won't care about the championship leader. They will make these boats as wide as they can.
It's all about the pride on the weekend and taking line honours, isn't it, mate? So, I mean, your penultimate round, which last round was actually here at Yarrawonga only a couple of weeks ago.
Other side of the lake, and conditions were very tough. The wind came in from the other side, so particularly around turn 3, turn 4. Really, really challenging. We saw a lot of the boats in the senior class, the Formula GP, coming back in wounded. There were a couple of big incidents, a couple of big hits. So you were talking to the boys from Lucas Oils. Nick Coles, he got whacked big time and sort of got belted up a little bit in one of the start sequences. But you know, we're going to see those guys out here later today. But F4 quality now ticking down. I like to look at Jack Meads, Dave. He's got that boat sitting beautifully, boat number 78, the blue and white Budlight machine. So
if he's got any of his father's talent, he's got to be half a chance, doesn't he?
I think he's got a bit more than his dad, to be perfectly frank. He's only a young bloke, but he's doing a beautifully job. Hey, Sunglare Bisho, it's obviously we're at elevated position in the commentary, but into turn number 1, that's not easy just looking at it from here.
It could have been the cause of some of the spin-outs we saw this morning as well. I mean, as you say, different from us for if you were driving up the straight up there. It may not look like what we're seeing from the driver's perspective, but yeah, exactly right. It looks very glary from where we are. We certainly would struggle to pick up names of boats. They all look black once they get in that sun there, don't they?
Now, F4, we talked about this as an international category. Some of the Australian drivers are the best in the world. They've gone and competed on the world stage. Guys like Reece Coles and a whole lot of others have done a whole lot in this sport. We talk about drivers all the time, but these guys are technically referred to as pilots because these boats are air-assisted, Bish. Those left and right sponsons, as they move down the boat, they narrow. So the tunnel underneath the hull, if you like, it gets narrower and narrower, and that compresses the air that's being forced underneath the boat. That compressed air gives the boat lift, less boat in the water, less drag, means boat goes faster.
Yep.
Right up until it goes horribly wrong. So these guys are obviously piloting these boats to try and get that optimum angle to force as much air as they can under the boat without letting it take off like a wing.
Yeah.
But some really solid times there. We'll wait and see. We get some unofficial times up here in the commentary box. But yeah, for me, that boat right there, the Phantom, boat number 80, Lockie Bride was fast, along with Yarrawonga 4x4 centre. Orange and blue, go RV Marine. Jacko second. He'll be there when the checkered flag drops, mate. Don't worry about him. So Jack Meads is going for another lap. You'll want to be careful on that one.
Yeah, you need to pull into the pits once that black flag comes out. But his dad's on the cans to him down here. Dave will square him up.
He's stomping
how
around.
How stressed do the parents get?
They
want to rock around. We've got Doggy down there on the cans as well. It's not sure he's got anything intelligent to say, but.
No, not at all.